Are you ready?
My coach, Barbara H. Smith. Why did I hire her? Because she's the best.
Barbara H. Smith is a powerhouse. She just walks in the room and grabs your attention, and she does that in a way that just makes you feel loved and like she's paying attention to you, she cares about you, and she wants to see you be your best self.
She was able to dig inside and find the passion that was deep within me.
Barbara's energy is one of the reasons that I had to have her as my coach. I love the way she is real with people.
The reason I felt like I needed a coach was because I have some big goals and I needed to build my confidence. I knew that Barbara could help me do that.
I felt that I could trust her.
I would definitely recommend to get coaching from Barbara H. Smith if you feel like you need to level up your confidence. She would just help you feel like bold, like you can take on the world.
She has really shown me who I am. She has changed my mindset to a place that I know that I am more powerful today than I would have ever been if I had never met Barbara Smith.
Here we go. Yes. Welcome to the Barbara H. Smith Show. I am your hostess with the mostest, and I am over the top excited today. I know y'all say I'm excited all the time. Today, this show is going to blow your mind. So, first let me tell you a little bit about why we do the Barbara H. Smith Show. This show showcases some famous and some not so famous people. People who might not otherwise get a chance to be on a network that is broadcast over 200 countries. And so people come on the show and bring a plethora of fabulous information and news that you can use. So today, not like any other day, today I have the honor and the privilege to bring to the platform Bruce George. Bruce George is an author, a Tony Award winner, a social activist, a philosopher, a writer, an editor, an entrepreneur. He is the co-founder of Russell Simmons' Deaf Poetry Jam on HBO and has received multiple awards for his innovative work. Bruce has spoken at many colleges and universities and to grassroots organizations and corporations. He has written and gotten testimonials from the likes of Essence Magazine, Emerge Magazine, Class Magazine, Harlem River Press. Bruce has also won a multitude of poetry and talent contests. He's won several awards, such as the Peabody Award, the Mikey Award for Russell Simmons Presents Deaf Poetry HBO, an Upscale Showcase Award, and a Trailblazer Award for his outstanding, get this, vision, production, writing, and he's a performer. He's the co-founder of the acclaimed award-winning show Russ Simmons' Deaf Poetry Jam. Also the founder and managing editor of the Bandana Republic, an anthology of poetry and prose by gang members and their affiliates. You know what else? He's a quoteologist. I love that, and we're going to talk about that today. Help me bring to the platform the genius behind Genius is Common, my buddy, Bruce George.
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. How are you, Barbara?
Woo, I am so much better now that you on the show. I am excited to have you on the show. You are by far one of the favorite guys that have come to the show.
Wow.
We have had some phenomenal people on the show, let me tell you. But I got a chance to meet you during the Black Business Expo USA. And we hit it off right away, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I had to bring you back. I had to bring you back. This was
I'm
like
humbled.
so awesome. So I want to start out. I want to start out with the movement. I want to start out with genius is common. Tell us what that means.
Okay. First and foremost, I would like to thank the good Lord for blessing me to be here before you. I want to thank you, Barbara, for having me on the Barbara H. Smith Show. And shout out to Dr. Eric Kelly, who just was he just embraced the Genius is Common movement like nobody's business with the Black Business Expo USA. So I want to shout out to him and everybody that attended the show, everybody that said Genius is Common. The Genius is Common movement really appreciates you and appreciates the love and respect that you've shown us. So Barbara, I want to thank you again for us connecting, you being a fantastic host as you are, speaker, writer. I mean, you know, I'm equally as humble to be connected with you again. Praise God for that. So a little bit about myself, love of God, child of God. My work is my ministry. I'm a social activist. I was born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx. I lived in Brooklyn for over 15 years. I'm a New Yorker to the umpteenth percentile, and my work is my ministry. Right brain, right brain and left brain, but I'm classic right brain. Psychology, philosophy, classic literature, non-linguistic programming, metaphysics, body language, the law of attraction. I specialize in power. I'm a wordsmith, word engineer, and a master quoteologist. And so the Genius is Common movement actually got started from one of my quotes, believe it or not, Barbara, because I would go around the country and I would ask the youth, when you hear the word genius, what image comes to mind? And they would always say Einstein or a light bulb. And every now and then I would get a Jordan, and that troubled me. And I said, you know what, let me write a quote about that. And the quote is, notwithstanding Einstein, genius is common. And then I turned into this slogan, genius is common, which turned into an entire movement. As we speak, we have a presence in all 50 states, 14 countries with 26 ambassadors and growing. I kid you not. We have a presence in Jamaica, Barbados, Ghana, Kenya, Dubai, Norway, Nigeria, the UK, Canada, the Bahamas. We're about to have a presence in the Dominican Republic and Panama. You're talking to the head honcho. I run everything and I own everything. I own a trademark, I own a copyright. And I'm the only Facebook group administrator because you have to keep this close to the belt. So I want to shout out Renata Brown, who's our graphics ambassador to the Genius is Common movement from Long Beach, California, who moved to Atlanta for 21 years. Now she's in Texas. She's the one that did the promo video. So I want to shout out to her. She did a fab job.
Yes.
And so the Genius is Common movement, Barbara, basically is the first movement to let the world know that they have been lied to in relationship to the word genius. So when they say you're only a genius if you have 130, 140 IQ and Mensa, that's pure nonsense. That was an arbitrary number made up of Stanford University to make you 1% of the population, which is rooted in elitism. What they don't want you to know is that the true order of the word genius doesn't just apply to intellect. Even Einstein said we're all geniuses. And if you were to judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it would spend its whole life believing that it's stupid. The philosopher Buckminster Fuller said that every child is born a genius, but the process of life de-geniuses them. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said that talent is a target that no one else can hit, but genius is a target that no one else can see. So we're the first movement to let the world know that the true origin of the word genius comes from the word genie out of Northern Africa. That ancient Rome. And the genie is the guiding tutelary spirit within a person. So the genius in us is the genie in us, and the genie in us is the God in us. We've been lied to. So Barbara, I don't proselytize. I just tell people we all have a genius seed, right? Some call it God, which I do. Some call it source energy, or the Esther Hicks law of attraction type folk. And shout out to Esther Hicks. But those that believe in God, I'll take them back to the etymology and I'll say, let's look at the word genie and Genesis. Genesis is the beginning. God is the Alpha and the what? Omega. Let's look at the word genie and your genes. Your jeans is your whole makeup, right? So the cat is out the bag and the jig is up, as we used to say. So we're the first movement to take the elitism out of the word genius. Thus, we are an anti-elitist movement.
I love, love, love that.
Thank you,
And
sir.
you explained it so eloquently. So
Thank you, sir.
you have a bag full, plethora full, brain full of quotes, because not only do you just call yourself the quoteologist, you truly are a quoteologist. Now tell me, how did that come about, and why do you call yourself the quoteologist?
Okay. I've been a quoteologist for over 40 years. So I'm dating myself. I started out quoting other people, and it was just an affinity. You know, God has this amazing sense of humor where he gives us this so-called free will to do what we want to do, but the fine print reason, so you do what I instilled in you to do, you'll never be happy and you'll never have purpose, right? You see, there's a lot more ordained ministers out of church than in church. You see somebody flipping burgers, that's an ordained minister. You see somebody cleaning the streets, that's an ordained minister. You see somebody, whatever, cleaning toilets, that's an ordained minister. And so God has blessed me to be able to be a quoteologist by having an affinity towards words and having an affinity towards keeping things extremely simple. I wrote a quote where it says, simplicity is the essence of all complexity, for in order to know the advanced, you must know the basics. So the so-called difficult is nothing but the simple, added to the simple, added to the simple. So I started quoting every Tom, Dick, and Harry, Sally, Cindy, Mindy, sages, poets, playwrights, you name it, until I came across a quote from Emerson, who was one of my mentors, by the way. Don't like his poetry. Sorry, Emerson. But anyway, Ralph talked about people that quote people. And he said they are cowards and would rather quote a saint or a sage than to say, I think. So I was like, whoa. So I just got cussed out by one of my mentors. I said, okay. So that was a marching order for me, Barbara, to start writing quotes myself. And then I started writing quotes myself. And then one thing led to the other. And here we are, thousands upon thousands of quotes in. And you know, the amount of quotes I have, the memory is staggering. And it's not because of who I am, it's because of whose I am, right? Each quote is a different sheet of music. So a lot of people are like, well, how do you remember all these quotes? It's not so much that I remember it, I envelop it, right? You know, Bill Dukes are the best. You know, the best of actors don't act, they become.
Oh,
right?
That's so good.
I appreciate that. So, you know, the best of actors don't act, they become. And so it's not about so much memorization, you know, it's about just being able to pay attention to that different sheet of music, envelop it, embrace it, because everything is energy. And you know that.
Absolutely.
Right? You know, Nikola Tesla said it best. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. As the Higgs says, you attract, you know, not so much by your words, but by your vibrational countenance, right? You know, and it's been said that, you know, your Van Zandt said it in Acts of Faith. She said, you attract who and what is on your ray, right? The French philosopher Pierre de Chardin said, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. The late Dr. Wayne Dyer said, it's not the notes that makes the music, it's the silence in between the notes that makes the music. Because when you get rid of the silence, you have what? Noise. So, you know, it's just one of my geniuses. It's just a gift that God has given me, you know, and everybody was birthed with some form of gift from God. That's why I say your work is your ministry. And so I give thanks and praise to God for that ministry. I love him for that.
That is so, so sweet. That is so good. You know, everybody has a ministry. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has their own thing. So here's where I get, I don't know, beside myself. Let's say that. Two of me, anyway. So why then, if each of us comes here with a gift, if each of us has our own genius, then why do you think people get jealous of other people's gifts?
Because they're coming from a space of fear, you know, a space of lack, right? Whenever you have a lack mentality, you're going to always come from a sense of insecurity. You're going to always come from a sense of it's not enough, right? I'm not enough, right? There's not enough and I'm not enough. And so the jealousy or the green-eyed bandit, I think Shakespeare is the one that said that. You know, the green-eyed bandit basically comes from the fact that people look too little of themselves, right? And if they were to look more into themselves and realize that they were perfect. You see the thing, Barbara, what the negative forces in the world don't want you to know is that we're perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Say that again.
That's a big secret that a lot of people don't realize. You know, oh, we're not perfect. What are you talking about? You know, we have flaws. Nah, not at all. Miles Davis said it best. He said, don't worry about making mistakes. There are none. Right? And so we were perfect, meaning we were created perfectly. God doesn't make mistakes.
That's right.
You know, Luke 17:21 say neither low here nor low there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you.
Ooh.
Right?
Yes.
You know, and in the Genesis, he says, you know, we created them in our own image, right? I think it's in Psalms, he said, ye are gods with a little g. And if there's gods, there's goddesses, right? So the jealousy piece comes from individuals that have a low sense of self-worth. And so what they do is they project that onto others. That sense of lack, that sense of insecurity, right? That sense of someone's going to take something or someone away from me, right? Not realizing that in the world, there's nothing but abundance.
Oh, say it again, say it again, say it again.
Nothing but abundance. There's nothing but abundance.
So why do we have so many people in them? Well, I already asked that. Question. You already answered it. For the self-esteem is low.
Right.
So they walk around with lack.
And it's the mentality. It's the mentality. You see that the universe is one where it acts in kind. If you have a low vibration and you operate out of fear, like is drawn to like. It's in chemistry, not in human relationships. Like is drawn to like, right? Opposites don't attract, rather. Opposites don't attract. That's in chemistry, not in human relationships. In human relationships, like is drawn to like. And it's the same thing with energy, right? You look at quantum physics. You have the wave and the particle, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the wave dictates the particle, right? Well, you and I know as believers that the wave is the what? Spirit. It's the spirit that dictates the particle. So our spirit dictates everything around us. That's why Esther Hicks says that we are all co-creators, right? So every last one of us are co-creators. So if you can't
create it here, though, we create it in our spirit, but we also create it in our minds, right?
In our minds, because that's the battleground. So when you talk about metaphysics, right? So if I were to ask a person to take their hand and move something, that hand would move that pen. So I would say to them, well, what moves your hand? They'll say their mind. Well, what moves your mind? They'll say their spirit or their brain. And that's going back and back and back and back and back. So it goes right back to the wave dictating the particle. And so it's just one of those things where it's like people have to realize that energy is everything and everything is energy.
I love that.
There's nothing solid. You know, that's illusory.
Yes.
You know, it's protons, neutrons, you know, you have and you have the space in between that. Right. But it's the same thing with silence. Is you take silence away from the notes, you have noise. Right. That's what makes the music. It's the silence in between the notes that makes the music. Like Dr. Wayne Dyer said. Right. And so it just comes from a sense of lack. You know, and that's why a major Buddhist principle says all suffering comes from inappropriate attachment to a person, to a place, or to a thing.
That's right.
Absolutely. Good questions as usual. I love your questions. I lost you. I can't hear you now.
Oh, that's because
now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
That's because I turned my mic off. I don't know. I told
that's
you.
Okay. That's okay.
So here's a question. So we know based on just your conversation in the first 5 minutes that you have so many quotes. You've got to have some way to keep your mind fresh, to keep those quotes coming, to remember and to remind yourself of where they fit and how they fit. Right. You and I talked offline some about being an herbologist. What does that mean, and how do you keep yourself vibrant and fresh?
Right. Well, I'm not a herbologist, but I take about 14, 15 herbs every single day. I take I guess the strongest form of ginkgo biloba. And ginkgo biloba, what it does is it oxygenates the brain, right? And so what I do is I take a lot of different herbs that will help oxygenate the brain. The spices, the hot spices, red clover, what it does is it opens up the blood vessels. So red clover is a herb that basically is like a train where other herbs can jump on that train and they can get dispersed throughout the body, right? So I take a lot of different herbs, spices, and botanicals, a lot of them that will help with memory and help oxygenate the brain and things of that nature. I pray, I meditate, I fast. I basically eat one time a day. Is basically I eat once a day. And so meditation and prayer, what it does is it calms the monkey mind, as the Buddhists would say, right? Instead of your mind jumping all around. So meditation aids with memory. Fasting aids with memory. Prayer aids with memory, which prayer is a form of fasting. And so the mere fact that I don't smoke or drink, nothing, right? And I'm just really I don't get as much rest as I should. I stand accused of that. But I eat pretty much properly. I don't eat pork. I don't eat beef. I'm not a vegan or anything like that. I eat regularly chicken, turkey, seafood or whatever. So, and then I'm constantly in study. So
Right.
that neuroplasticity comes into place. Neuroplasticity is where you have these connections, these brain connections, where it aids you with your memory, right? Because when you have these dendrites that are connecting, then that aids with memory. So
Yes.
it's a combination, Barbara, of a whole lot of different things. And then repetition plays a big part of it as well. I have cue cards. So what I'll do is I'll study the cue cards, and that will help. But you see, the thing is, again, I envelop it, Barbara. So what happens is, like, let's say I'm talking to you right now, right, about relationships. And then all of a sudden I'll get pinged. My spirit will get pinged and a Bob Marley quote will come out. The truth is, everyone's going to hurt you. It's about finding the one worth suffering for.
Wow.
Right? Or we're talking about love. How people, they sabotage love. I just got pinged by James Baldwin. Love is so desperately sought, but so cunningly avoided. Love makes us take off the mask we know we can't live without and know we can't live with it. So what happens, Barbara, you reach a certain level, right, where your spirit will ping you, right, to let you know, take me, call on me now.
I love it.
And so you don't even have to memorize it. You don't have to memorize. You just listen, you just answer it. And again, each quote is a different sheet of music.
I need to get that ping going on. I need that. I need that part.
But one's culture. But listen, hear me out though. I want you to understand this fact. Everybody is built differently. We're like snowflakes. There are people that can take all of the Fred Astaire, you name it. They could take all of the Fred Astaire classes in the world and will not be able to dance.
Right.
Ever. Not be able to dance. The reason why is because one's culture plus experience equals one's frame of reference.
Say it again, slower.
One's culture plus experience equals one's frame of reference.
I love
And Charlie Parker said it best, if you haven't lived it, it won't come out your horn. So it's just one of those things that this is a part of how God has blessed me to be within my makeup. And then due to the fact that I'm a Virgo. And I'm one of those pure Virgos. So we are ruled by what? Mercury. Mercury is the planet that deals with words and communication, right? And then Virgo's a perfectionist as well. So it's one of those things. It's just a combination of all of the above.
That is so magnificent that you are able to get what you need right when you need it to talk a conversation. It is really just magnificent.
Amen.
I want to go now to talk some about the Bandana Republic.
Okay, sounds good. Well, the Bandana Republic is a literary anthology by gang members and their affiliates. It's poetry, prose, short stories, and quotes and interviews from gang members, gang leaders, and those affiliated. Jim Brown wrote the foreword to it and said it's one of the most best well-researched books he's ever read. It's poetry, prose, short stories, and quotes, and interviews from gang members, gang leaders, and those affiliated. It's never been done before. Never been done before. When you talk about gang literature, Barbara, normally it's biographical, or if it's autobiographical, it's usually, or if it's an anthology, it's usually about one gang, right? You would be hard pressed to find an anthology that has multiple gangs under one umbrella.
You're not going to find it.
You won't find it besides the Bandana Republic. I doubt it. One reason being is because in order to do something like that, you have to get permission, from people that come out of gang culture at a high level, some even at the triple OG level to be able to get that sanction. If not, lights out.
Some people don't even know what that means. Let me pause you real quick right
Mm-hmm.
there. Some people don't even know what a triple OG is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So let's break that down for a second.
Okay, well, we had a triple OG in the Lighthouse. Agent 45 was a triple OG. Every president that has embraced America is a triple OG, basically. No, but a triple OG or OG is an original gangster, right? And basically, they come out of street culture or was from the streets, and they work their way up in terms of being able to make a name for themselves or make a reputation for themselves. And then you have people that have been in that culture over a certain period of time that actually was able to put in a lot of what is called putting in a lot of work. And they start to develop a relationship, respect from people in neighborhoods, and then from there, state to state, and then around the globe. And then after a while of those amount of years that they've been in that lifestyle, then they start to go from one OG to double OG to triple OG. Usually triple OGs, there aren't many of them left, actually. Those are the ones that really have founded gangs like the Crips or founded the Bloods or founded the Latin Kings or whatever. So a lot of them really, there's very few of them here. So usually it's just OGs,
right,
or a double OG or a single OG. That's what that means, basically. And so the Bandana Republic is an anthology where people that come out of street tribes or street organizations, because that's what they really are, the street tribes or street organizations, and they turn into gangs when you don't have that proper leadership, right? So let's talk about gangs. The bottom line is, people of color, we as people of so-called color, weren't given the luxury of morphing from gangs into the police department. Hello. Or from gangs into the fire department. Hello. Or from gangs into politics. Right? Tammany Hall. Gangster. Right? You know what I'm saying? So the gangs of New York, they were all gangsters, but they were given that so-called skin privilege that afforded them the opportunity to go from those gangs of New York into the fire department, into the police department, into politics.
That's right.
Right? So that's the deal right there, And so what happens is you get these people that are very self-righteous, that they'll look down upon somebody in the street with a rag, right? But yet Big Pharma, they look up to them though, and won't say anything about Big Pharma, who are passing these drugs, these draconian drugs that causes all of these side effects, right? And the Food and Drug Administration lets it go right on by. Okay, lets it go right on by. And we know what time it is with that.
Yep.
Okay. So and they're supposed to stop these drugs that comes through the gate that causes all these side effects. Somebody's sleeping on the job when the side effects is worse than what you're ailing from.
How about that?
How about that? So that's a sign right there that somebody's not doing their job or doing their job the wrong way. Right? And God don't like ugly. Plain and simple. God don't like ugly.
So we got all kinds of shout outs. We got shout outs from India.
Thank you, India. God bless.
Yes, got kingdom greetings from all over the place.
Peace and
Eliza
blessings.
is saying,
Salute.
ping us more, Lord, please. You
Yes,
got all
yes.
kinds of people out here just cheering you on and welcoming you to the platform. We are broadcasting to over 200 countries. We've got one country already pinging in from India, and we've got more coming up. So right where you are, stay right there. Don't you move. We've got a commercial break coming up, and we'll be right back talking to my buddy, Bruce George.
You are watching The View from Hampton U, exploring Hampton University's rich history, the past, present, and promising future.
Welcome to Hampton University and The View from Hampton U. Today we're going to examine a movement that is said to be taking the nation by storm. The Genius is Common movement has emboldened young people throughout the nation, and that has also happened here at Hampton University. Let's take a look at what some of our students have to say about being a genius.
Hi, my name is Gavin Harden, and my genius is to be able to give off positive vibes and spread a smile. Genius is common.
My name is Brianna Lomax, and my genius is artistic expression through writing and showing compassion to everyone I meet. Genius is common.
My name is Atia Strange, and my genius is the power of expression. Art is universal. I sing, I draw, I film, I photograph. Genius is common.
My name is Maya Harris, and my genius consists of all the gifts that God has given to me. I am a giver, I am passionate about bringing ideas to life, and I have mastered the concept of finding the good in everything. Genius is common.
My name is Diamond Sidney. My genius is acknowledging the beauty in my own mistakes while challenging others to do the same in order to cultivate and grow. Genius is common.
My name is Almajid Edwards. A lot of people think genius is about being talented or being smart. It's not true. Genius is about influence. Whether it's an equation, whether you're reading or writing, research, harmonies, what have you, genius is about the opportunity, the moment of impact where you can influence another person and uplift them. My genius is poetry. Genius is common.
Hampton University has a long-standing history of supporting geniuses and the movements that they create. For example, General Chapman Armstrong established this great institution in 1868. And did you know that Booker T. Washington was also an alum of Hampton University? I could go on and on about the geniuses who've come through these doors and have exited to go out into the world to make a great difference. That's what's important to us. That's what's important about the Genius is Common movement. What is your genius? You should take the time to think about that today. So thank you for watching The View from Hampton U. And remember, genius is truly common.
Join us next week for another exciting episode of The View from Hampton U.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You know,
Thank you.
Right in my backyard with Hampton University. That's where that's where I'm located. It's like, how did you get that done?
No, I appreciate that. You know, just the students did that thing. You know, God is, you know, and big up to everybody that did their thing with that video. You know, and I want to shout out all of the 26 ambassadors within the Geniuses Common movement. You know, Eliza Dukes, who is our breathologist, stress management ambassador to the Geniuses Common movement out of Philadelphia. She is the CEO of the Breathing Experience. And she's just amazing. Dr. Vander Wilson Womack out of North Carolina. She's awesome. She's our spiritual guidance coach ambassador to the Geniuses Common movement. Beverly Black out of Merced, California. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday to her. She is our publisher ambassador to the Geniuses Common movement. And Bob, I was blessed to mint every last one of our ambassadors. And in order to be an ambassador, you have to be at the top of your game, you know, the creme de la creme at the top of your game, you know, in order to be chosen to be one. And the Geniuses Common movement, I mean, we're about to break mainstream any day, hour, a month now, like Black Lives Matter and the Me Too movements, respectively. You know, we are a celebrity magnet. So far, we have over 71 celebrities that did Geniuses Common videos. You know, actor Malik Yoba, Nikki Giovanni, The Last Poets, the late Tommy Ford from The Martin Lawrence Show, Bernadette Stannis, aka Thelma from Good Times, actor Doreen Wilson, comedian Rodney Perry, the legendary actor and film producer Bill Duke, the legendary actor Antonio Fargas, Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch, and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. I mean, and the list goes on and on to the break of dawn. You know, I don't want to leave too many people out, you know, but I want to thank everybody that is a part of the Geniuses Common movement, from our partners to our ambassadors, to everybody that played any part within the movement. I salute you and thank you very much for that. And Malik Yoba, a good friend of mine, he was our first celebrity. So I want to thank him and prayers up to him and all of his endeavors. You know, I want to shout out our Palestinian brothers from around the world. Free Gaza, plain and simple. You know, I want to really send love to our Palestinian brothers and sisters that are out there struggling. And I also want to send a shout out to all of our people that are struggling through police brutality, through, I don't care what it is, right? I want to send a shout out to all of us that we need to continue to unify. You know, Ozzie Davis said it best. He said, being an African American, however, implies that something at the core of your existence is in crisis mode or will be at some point in life. He's also said all struggles between the power to resist and the power to oppress, right? You have to be able to have a heart, a spine, to stand up for what you believe in. You can't walk around here without a spine. Oh, if I say this, this is going to happen. Or if I say that, that is going to happen. And that's why Garvey said, men in earnest don't concern themselves with consequences. If our ancestors were concerned about our consequences, we wouldn't be where we are today.
None of us would be here.
None of us would be here. You know, Dante in his piece, the Inferno, he said the hottest places in hell are reserved for those who are in a position of moral crisis, who maintain their neutrality. You can't stay neutral. Either you're going to act or you're not going to act. And Dr. King said it best, what affects one directly affects another indirectly. We are all united, right? The jailer is doing time right along with the jail. Right? I wrote a quote where I said, no matter how low you keep your wickedness, karma knows how to limbo. you feel me? In this world, you get away with nothing.
I love that.
I don't give a damn if you ain't, you know, no matter how low you keep your wickedness, karma knows how to limbo. I don't give a damn if you're in government. I don't care if you're cheating, if you have a cheating heart, if you're in a relationship and you're a cheater. Whatever goes around comes around. It's the law of compensation.
It comes right back.
It comes right back to you. And get a load of this. You pay twice.
Twice. It's going to be right.
You pay in terms of natural law and you pay in terms of a spiritual law.
Yeah.
Right? Dr. Miles Monroe said it best, God bless him and his family, who died in a plane crash some years ago. He was a pastor. You know, he said it best, you don't break the law breaks you.
Yeah.
Straight up.
That's true. That's true.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love the fact that you shouted out everybody. That shows, as a leader, we have to give flowers to the people who help us, because we don't, in and of ourselves, do anything by ourselves.
That's right.
Right. And so the fact that you are humble enough to give credit and give kudos to the staff and help the ambassadors, all of the people behind the scenes. I absolutely adore that. And that's what we have to do. As
Appreciate
leaders, we have to do that. So talk to me some about this new venture with Kimberly Stewart and the Genius is Common movement and the Ebony 360 virtual mall.
I thought you would never ask. First of all, shout out to Kimberly Stewart of Ebony 360. Her genius is artificial intelligence, among other things. And she's an amazing, amazing soul of a person. She's a part of my Genius is Coming movement, and she partnered with the Genius is Coming movement, which is a virtual Black business mall, which is going to debut in about 2 months, where brick and mortar businesses from around the world will be able to have their business showcased in this virtual mall.
That's wow.
And, yeah, I mean, her coders are second to none. Her artificial intelligence is second to none. And stores and, service-oriented people, brick and mortar, will have an opportunity to have virtual real estate in this mall where they can sell their products, sell their service, you name it. And it's never going to be done the way we're doing it. We've been offered $10 million by a corporation, can't mention their name, and we laughed at them because the bottom line is they're so quick to think people are quick to sell out, right? No, we're not going to sell out. We get the hell out before we sell out, as Public Enemy said. And so no, we're not doing that. This is about legacy building, right?
Yeah,
Barbara, it's about legacy building. And so, we all have children and grandchildren that we need to leave legacies for. So this is what we're about. We're about leaving a legacy and creating platforms for us to have a voice. The bottom line is the last should be first and the first should be last. We're in the age of the Aquarius. So as a result of that, a lot of people in power are getting very nervous.
Yeah, because power is everybody. I know you can feel it.
Absolutely, you can feel it.
Wealth going on in this country. There's a shift in the spirit realm that's going on in this country. And if you're not paying attention to what's going on, I loved your statement about the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pandemic, exactly.
So this whole pandemic situation should have done some things for us individually, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things like self-reflection,
mm-hmm.
things like self-development.
Mm-hmm.
But how many people do you think are missing the boat? What do you think people are doing?
Good question. A lot of people are missing the boat because they drank the Kool-Aid. We have been socially engineered to be fearful. You see, the mind is the battlefield.
Yes.
And the devil comes to what? Kill, steal, and destroy.
That's right.
Right? But we weren't given a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So what's happening, Barbara, is during this whole pandemic, is that it's separating the wheat from the tare. The wheat are the believers, and the tare are the non-believers. Even in the Bible, God says fear drives a what? Snare, right? So whatever you fear, you drive it to you.
Yep.
Even in the law of attraction, right? Whatever you fear, you drive that to you because you attract by your vibrational countenance.
That is right.
Okay. You don't attract so much by your words. You attract by whatever your vibration is. So if you have a low vibration, then you attract low vibration. That's why I said earlier, opposites don't attract. That's in chemistry, not in human relationships.
Right.
You attract who and what is on your ray. Van Zandt said that in Acts of Faith. So if you walk around fearful, you will bring whatever it is that you fear to you.
Or fear.
Or fear.
Right.
If you walk around with faith and confidence, what happens is you attract that to you and the doors start opening up for you, right? Fear is nothing but false evidence appearing real.
That's right.
That's all it is. And guess what, Barbara? Out of 100 things that we fear, only 8 come to pass.
Isn't that crazy?
And 4 of those things that comes to pass are good for us. So we do a lot of worrying over things that usually don't even come to pass. I'll give you, for instance, a lot of us, we worry about our mothers passing away because they're getting up in age. And then she might wind up burying you. God forbid. You think what I'm saying? So
Right.
people have a tendency to just be fearful. You know, I don't do fear. If I did fear, I wouldn't have the Bandana Republic. If I did fear, there wouldn't be Def Poetry Jam. If I had fear, there wouldn't be the Genius is Coming movement. It would come to my mind and I would just let it go. I would be a Doubting Thomas. I wouldn't believe in it, right? The graveyard is full of fearful people, or people that were at one time fearful. They didn't live their dream because of the fact that they were so busy in fear of this might not happen, or this might happen if I do this, or if I do that. That's why I always quote Marcus Garvey: men in earnest don't concern themselves with consequences. I just do. I don't fear no one but God. That's it. I don't fear for my life. None of that. The things I say will get a lot of people killed.
Yeah.
There's this thing called the 4 Ds, right? In terms of how the system goes against people that talk too damn much, right? First, they'll dismiss you. Then they'll discredit you. Then they'll demonize you. Then they'll destroy you. I don't worry about that, because if God is for me, who could be against me?
Ooh.
You heard? I don't fear that. I don't fear death. I don't fear death. And guess what? Most people don't fear death neither. You know why, Barbara? It's not that they fear death, they fear life.
And that's a fact. That is a fact.
That's what it is. They're not fearing death. They're fearing life.
And so here's what's troubling about that. If people would just know that like attracts like.
Absolutely.
And if they know that greater is he that's in us
Than he that is in the world. Absolutely.
than he that's in the world,
Yeah.
then we all would be better for just speaking what we want. We have death and life in the power of our what?
And those the tongue, and those that love it will eat the fruit thereof, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. And so I am just, you and I could have this conversation and so many different other conversations, but I want to talk some about your philosophical approach to life.
Okay.
You're a philosopher. And,
Right.
and how do you come about with what you think and how your perspective is with life, your philosophy?
You know, the thing is, a phil lover osophy knowledge. A philosopher is a lover of knowledge. And I've always had an affinity with knowledge. What actually got me into getting into studying and knowledge is insecurity. When I was young, absolutely. When I was young, I was very thin. I was very insecure with my head shape and size. And as a result of that, young girls would shy away from me. You know, I felt like that kid on the beach that would get the sand kicked on him by that muscle-bound guy. So what I did, Barbara, I started going into bookstores and reading how to pick up women, how to pick up girls, how to pick up girls, body language, all of those things. So that's what got me into psychology. And then from there, I went to Niagara University for psychology and graduated with a psychology degree. I minored in psychology and philosophy and all of those different things. And then I just had a voracious appetite towards studying, so I studied body language. Most cats eat rats. If a person looks up to the left, that's memory. If they look up to the right, that's being creative. If they look down to the left, that's emotion, and if they look down up to the right-hand side, that's recalling, all of those different things. So I fell in love with psychology. So one thing from an insecurity, it turned into a love of learning, which turned into where I am now in terms of studying every single day. I'm a Google head and I'm a YouTube head. My appetite for studying is voracious.
That's like Dr. Kelly. That's why you two get along so well.
Yeah, I love it. I love that, brother. And shout out again to Dr. Kelly. For instance, I'll give you a for instance. Like, let's say if something like narcissism, right? I've had a relationship or 2 relationships that they were narcissists. They probably say I was narcissist. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Anyway, let's say you know, they were narcissistic. I felt they were narcissistic. I would watch over 500 to 600 videos on narcissism. Yeah, that's how I am. YouTube videos. I will study it inside and out, outside and in. I mean, until I get it down pat. Barbara, when I read a book, it's as if I read that book 30 times.
Why do you say that? Did you read it 30 times or?
I read extremely slow on purpose.
Okay.
I read extremely slow because I want to know every single detail of that book. I want to know every letter. I want to know every word. I want to know every phrase. I want to know every context. And I won't go past it until I get it down pat. So I will read that same page over 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 20 times over. So when I finish reading a book, it's as if I read that book 20 or 30 times.
And I thought that was just me, but it wasn't because I was trying to get it over and over. It was because my reading comprehension at one time was not as great. So I would have to. That was not, see, the difference is you were trying to read it over and over and over. I actually had to because my reading comprehension was so poor at one time. Mm-hmm. Now I'm faster and I read more books, but it took a long time, Bruce.
Now I feel you, but you just have to stick with it and stay with it. You really have to stick with it and stay with it. And and like I told you, I wrote a quote where it says, "Simplicity is the essence of all complexity. For in order to know the advanced, you must know the basics." So the difficult is nothing but the simple added to the simple, which is added to the simple. That's all it is.
I love that. I love
There's
that.
no such thing as anything being difficult.
I want to ask you one of these questions that's near and dear to my heart, but it's just a hard question. And that is, why do you think we as a people have a hard time supporting each other monetarily at times?
Because we've been socially engineered to be the way we are. We've been socially engineered to hate each other. We've been socially engineered to believe or think that white ice is better than black ice, right? And so, realize that all of the struggles that we've gone through, right? Everything that we've gone through, it was designed for us to go through what we're going through. They came at us biologically, psychologically, socially, chemically, social politically, interpersonally, every way you can imagine. The so-called powers that be have come at people in struggle. They came at us through the arts, right? We were never given the luxury of art for the sake of art. For us, art has always been an indispensable tool of revolutionary struggle, as the Black Panther Party stated.
Yeah.
Dr. Sonia Sanchez, shout out to her, said the best. She said, all art is political. All art is political, right? So we were never given the luxury of art for the sake of art. For us, we used art as a form of self-determination.
Yes, we did. We still do.
We still do to this very day. You're right. We still do to this very day, right? Yep. Let me say this to you. The artist or writer or poet is the most dangerous person on the planet.
Why do you say that?
Because the writer, artist, or poet is the cajoler of history. They are the flamethrower. They are the truth bearers. Arts and sciences should really be called sciences and sciences because they killed the arts. Why did they kill the arts? Because the artist has always been a threat to the system. That's why when Napoleon came to power, the first thing he said was, kill all the poets.
Yep, that's what he said.
Kill all the poets. Why did he say kill all the poets? Because the poet are the thinkers, right? The poets are the thinkers. That's it right there. Voltaire said it best. He said, knowledge is the spark between two swords.
Yeah.
In the Bible, God says iron sharpens iron in the Bible, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So what you and I are doing right now, we're sharpening iron. Knowledge is the spark between two swords.
I love that.
That's exactly why, in my opinion.
And I appreciate that. I want you to, we're going to leave on a positive note. We want to talk a little bit more about where you see the Genius is Common movement. I have to first shout out to the children in the videos, because
Amen.
our youth and our youth are our now. I don't like to say
Now, that's right.
they're not our future, they're our now. And so I want to shout out to all of them. I also want to let you know that I heard of Geniuses Common movement from my youngest son some years ago. Yeah. So the youth in this country
send some love, send my love to him. Send my love.
Youth in this, I will do that. Youth in this country are on the move. And so how can we, older people, embrace the youth and vice versa? That's my last and final question for you.
The way you do it is through love. You know, as God says in the Bible, love covers a multitude of sins, right? Love cuts through hate like a knife, a hot knife through butter, right? Love covers a multitude of sins. So we need to embrace our youth and stop being afraid of them. You know, Paul Mooney, God bless him, who passed away, who transitioned not too long ago. He said it best. He said, the audience is like wolves. They can sense it. So when you walk past our youth with this condescending mannerisms and this highfalutin, self-righteous attitude, right? They feel that. They can sense it.
Yep.
So they're going to respond to you in kind. So it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. If I think you don't like me, I'm not going to like you.
Yeah.
And if you think I don't like you, you're gonna not like me. So it's all in your attitude. It's all in your disposition. So we need to change. Come off that high horse. Get off of that highfalutin high horse and come back down to earth.
We were young
in our youth.
Yeah, we were young once. We forget.
Thank you. We forget. And not only that, all of Jesus's 12 disciples were dirty. Come on now. Moses was a murderer. Lot was a drunkard, right? You know what I mean? Noah was a drunkard. Lot was incestuous. Every last one of them were dirty.
Right.
That's why God says in the Bible, all have fallen short of the glory of God. He said, there's not one of you that is righteous, not one. He said, your righteousness is as filthy rags.
That's right. That's what he said.
Can't work your way into his kingdom lest we boast.
Yep. I love
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you.
So with that, I'm going to play one last clip before we go. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you, sis. Thank you very much. And I would implore your audience to go to geniusescommon.com. Thank you. The Barbara H. Smith Show. Thank you very much for having me and everybody that tuned in, even in the archives. If you don't just tune into the archives, we thank you for tuning in. And to God be the glory. And the struggle continues.
I love it. I thank you so much. We're going to be in touch. I've got some information I want to share with you. And I know you have some information you want to share with me.
Absolutely.
Geniuses Common Movement, I want to just thank you again for being a part of the Black Business Network, as well as the Barbara H. Smith Show, IBM TV, and Mark Lee behind the scenes, Dr. Eric Kelly, all of the folks that do anything with the show, Kimberly McLean, anybody that does anything with the show, I really appreciate you. You are here. Be heard, get noticed. We have something coming up right after the show. At 9:15, I do a masterclass teaching you how to use your communication skills. Not just about talking. It's not just about listening. It's body language too. It's called Unleash the Speaker Within. 9:15. You can get there. It's very, very simple. bit.ly/capital BHS lowercase all masterclass. That's bit.ly/BHS lowercase masterclass. Come right in at 9:15. We will get started and you will have fun learning how to present yourself, learning how to speak, talk, learning how to communicate and get people to listen to you, engage with you, and get your audience to do what you need them to do. So thank you so much. We're going to play out Geniuses Common video and we're going to be out of here. Thank you so much, Bruce.
God bless you. God bless you. Peace and blessings.
My name is Malik.
We're good.
My name is Malik Yoba. I'm here with a friendly little reminder. It's amazing how many people I talk to on a regular basis that say all kinds of crazy negative things about themselves. They often think that It's the other person, the other guy, the other girl, man or woman that is more capable, that has more ability, that's smarter, more talented. The thing so many people don't realize is we got a little secret. If we tell ourselves that we're great, if we focus on the things we really want that exceed our current circumstance and stay true to that no matter what, you'll understand genius.
Hi, I'm Morgan Brock, and my genius is my infectious smile, my ability to inspire, artistically create, and be relatable to all people.
Mayor Daley congratulated teenagers from 5 Southside high schools at ESPN Zone.
What did you came up with?
Well, the idea that I came up with was the soap pocket washcloth, and the company is actually the manufacturer because we do make the washcloths ourselves. So how it works is basically it's supposed to eliminate your bar soap blues, or so we like to call it, because you know you have soap scum build up in the showers, and you have the soap slipping and falling while you're trying to bathe, and you have those really small pieces that you see lying around that you just really can't use. So it's like money being wasted.
Was there a camera in my shower last night?
Well, the invention is here's the bar soap.
Let's see. Can you lift it up so that okay.
So right here.
Look at that.
It's the soap pocket, and you simply place your soap inside of the soap pocket, and that solves all of your problems.
Huh?
Okay.
That's awesome.
A simple idea that comes along, and then all of a sudden everybody goes, why not think of that? This is a...
Wasn't it just last week that your dad asked you your reason for walking down that aisle with me, and you said, for the exercise?
My genius is not just about me, but more so my ability to create a positive experience for everyone around me.
When you thought your daughter had won, you immediately did the thing that she praised you for. You lifted her up. You tried to lift up her spirits. You tried to say, hey, baby, it's okay. And that's really why she wanted to honor you, because you've apparently been doing that her entire life. Did you even notice that you were doing that?
No, because as you said, I've been doing it her entire life. I have always uplifted Morgan. I've always did exciting things with Morgan. She's always been so driven and forthcoming. So I'm praising Morgan, talking about her, talking about how a gift of a child that Morgan is. She's awesome.
Speaking of awesome, this house, oh my gosh, it is so beautiful. What was your first reaction when you walked in?
It scared me. It was a success story. That was my dream come true. I told Morgan, we've always talked about having our own home. I've never had one. So to have it to come to light and like this and in this form, fully furnished, inside and out, that's a success story, and I thank Home Free for that. It's a dream come true.
Well, compare this home to your Chicago home. Is there any comparison? There's none.
None whatsoever. None. This is amazing. This is above the top. As I told Morgan on the show, she has changed my life tremendously.
Right back to square one with no true ground and no foundation. My girl continues to weep for the birth of a new nation. The girl inside of me still cries to be much more than what society has destined her to be. And sometimes it seems that those of like minds will say enough to speak on her behalf. But let's do the math. The girl crying inside, what color is she? Those of like minds, what color are they? Those who actually hear what they got to say, what color are they? And those who actually care, what color are they? And that is it, gentlemen. End of story. The fat lady is singing. Out of the room.
Genius is common.
Hi, I'm Barbara H. Smith, known as the Masterful Presenter. If you could figure out a universal language, personality code that connects with potential client, how powerful would that be? I empower people to communicate better what they do, what they have, and what they bring to the table. People love to buy. I don't need you to sell it to me. I come in there with an intention, and that's what you're going to do going forward. You're going to go into networking events with intention.
I am here benefiting from the wisdom of Barbara Smith.
She gave so much information on how I can just excel in my business, and I'm taking it to a whole nother level.
I'm learning a lot that I didn't really know about my business.
The information that she's been presenting has been informative and helpful to me.
If you have not been in the presence of Ms. Holmes Smith, you need to make sure you do so. Her workshops are authentic. She comes with such training, and she just graces you with her presence, and she allows you to feel the experience like none other before.